Hi folks, this is Chris Fanning from the Picton Gazette here to introduce this week's paper. You'll notice on the cover we have a magnificent rendering of Molly of the Mohawks by Janice Brandt. This is on display at the Path Forward exhibition at Macaulay House Museum. And in recognition of Truth and Reconciliation Day this Monday, we've supplemented this cover with an account by Razel Robin of the Mohawk Tract history in Tyendinaga, another presentation which is available online from the county museums. Razel also offers us an account of a meeting with concerned citizens about possible Queen Elizabeth School developments. You can read about it there. And speaking of Queen Elizabeth, here's our roving historian in the field. Well, here we are at Fairfield Park on the Bath Road, standing in the very spot where 40 years ago this week, Queen Elizabeth II herself was here to unveil this gate dedicated to her. Her Majesty also cut a ribbon and declared Highway 33 to be the Loyalist Parkway. It was a big affair. Thousands were in attendance. The Picton Gazette was here. We printed no fewer than 4 stories on the front page and many more inside. We also splurged for a color cover, something quite significant in 1984. You can read excerpts from these stories in our Living History this month. The link is down below. And now back to the studio. Thank you very much to our historian. In my editorial this week, I reflect upon the past by-election we've had and think about voter turnout. It was noticeably low this time around, and I encourage everyone to turn out and show up and vote in the next election and in all elections. It's really very important. Across the page from the editorial in the letters section, you'll notice that we have an anticipation of National Newspapers Week, which is coming up next week. Have a look there. I think these items are connected. Jason Parks has a number of items to talk about this week. Here's Jason.
Thanks, Chris. This week I'll have a story about a respected and revered figure in Prince Edward County sports and politics, as former warden Jim Dunlop was honored by council. We recap the 2024 County Arts Studio Tour, and Council is moving ahead with a $400,000 sidewalk project that will connect the Pine Ridge subdivision to the town of Picton. On the web, I've got a story about County Road 49 and a promise from Premier Doug Ford, and we recap the week that was for the Picton Pirates and the Wellington Dukes. Back to you, Chris.
Thank you, Jason. Liz Zylstra's library column announces the beginning of a newcomers group for people to join and meet each other and socialize at the library. And finally, we have a report on the final concert of this year's Chamber Music Festival, a special concert in which the New Orford String Quartet played with cellist Paul Marlene in the lovely Schubert Quintet, a symbolic moment as they transferred their artistic directorship for the past 7 years over to Paul Marlene and looked forward to future developments. Thank you for joining me. All of the links to the articles I've mentioned are in the description down below. You can also subscribe to our newsletter right there. We hope to see you next week. Until then.